Hi everyone, now I'm working on some small, these ones, small emerge or dry patterns. These are, basically what I'm doing, I'm actually tying, I'll show you this fly, this is an old one. I've got them on a, oh, as long as I don't drop it anyway, these ones here, and I've got them on a standard hook. Now I'm actually going to tie basically these on a curved hook. I mean, over the last few years I've actually tied more of my dries on a curved hook than a standard hook. I mean, I still like the straight hook. It's just, in certain waters I prefer the wider gape. So both of these are the same size, a size 20. I mean, this is I'll show you the hook. This one here is the ultimate dry, size 20. Just give you an idea what it's like. Size wise, in comparison to the size 20, this is a check Nymph. So you can see much the same length, but because of the curved and wide gape, it obviously looks a bigger hook. The hook I'm using is this one, I'll show you. There you are, check Nymph, black nickel, size 20. Now, obviously one's a bronze hook, one's a black nickel, you can tie whatever like. Times I'm not fussy, I am tying more in the black nickel because of the style of the hooks I'm using. But I've got every faith in both. So, thread colour I'm going to be using, this is a Ly Cahill, this is a Uni 80. Now I've waxed the thread. So I'm just going to come down, just remove the waste. And then we tie in some, this is dark done Microfibets. Now I'm going to put 4 on, but I'm going to split them into 2 either side. Just make sure you've got 4. Make sure they're lined up. Should be anyway. Tail length, it's up to yourself really, short, long, I found them, they work always. So a kind of length you're quite happy with, just check the length. It's fine. Normally I like a turn underneath and then I split them, figure 8 through them. So basically through my side with a turn. And then I turn the other side, just to make sure they lift them up. Turn on top, just to lock that in. See what it's like. That's fine. And then I like to continue up. Now you could leave the body with it just as this thread, or you can basically form a rib on it. So trim away the waste. I'm going to come back down so I get a nice colour. I'm going to use a permanent marker now, black or brown. This is a brown permanent marker. Just going to rub it onto the thread. I'm going to use this as my rib. Just give it a second to dry. It does dry quick. And then you can rub it as wide or as close as you like, depending on the colour. This gives you a good quill effect. There we are, wee fibres coming off the thread there. Anyway, it's part of it. Now if you want a sort of high vis type colour, something like orange, pink, in this case this is Glo-Brite yarn number 7, which is really bright. So you can take a length, just a wee drop. You can bring it up onto the top, just holding either end, just a wee figure 8 through. Now you can bring this through your dubbing and split the thread, or what you can do is just lay it back. I've tied it 2 or 3 different ways. Just take my thread up a wee bit towards the eye. Now dubbing, I'm using a dry fly dubbing, this one from Full and Mill. Ultra dry dub, this one. It's called Pepperbox for some reason. It's a nice grey dark dun type colour. I'll show you when it's out the packet. Kind of mix of black, dun. A nice blend. It's kind of a natural blend. And then what I've done is I've actually got some dyed CDC, which is much the same colour in a way. This one I've dyed with using cinnamon and black, believe it or not. So what I do is I put some cinnamon into my dye, you get this colour, and then just a tiny drop and a wee touch of black, and you get a kind of mix. For some reason this one didn't take the black, but I'm happy with that. So I usually remove the fluff, I remove the bottom section with the scissors, and then I mix it into that dubbin, there it's there. So I've got my good dry fly dubbin, and I'm at a good material for forming, giving an impression of legs or wing. So I'm just going to dub this on. Not too tight, just reasonably loose. And slide it up, and then I'm going to work from the eye up towards the other side of it. Now, usually what I like to do is just come behind it, just to lift this up. Form a ball of dubbin. Once you've got a reasonable amount of dubbin, just a wee check. Don't be shy with it, because this is going to form the wing. Take away, end up with a thread in front. Now, no things at this point. And then run your varnish through. I mean, this is a sparse dressing. They do float really well. You'll be floating better than you think. You're targeting rising trout with this, especially fussy trout. I usually like to put these on when things are quite tough going. Length of the sight, it's up to yourself really. It can be short, it can be long. This just gives you a wee visual from a distance. And the older you get, the more you need. So there's only a strand there, or 2 strands. And then you want to do is just brush out your dubbin. Brush it and push it up. Now, if you want to tie like say, an RS2 type style of fly, what you would do is you would just trim this really quite small. If you want to keep it quite long like this, you just take out the very odd fibre. You can always trim it back on the river if you want to try that. The RS2 is a very popular, it's more it sinks below the surface. I've not personally fished the RS2 much. Mainly I've fished flies like this, which are very close to the same idea in a way. And you can, the more you brush this out, the better times. Now you can do this, I keep a bit of Velcro on my snips. And I've got it on my wee zinger that I use to hold my tools, as they say. So I'm just going to rough it up. Very leggy-like. These sit nicely on the surface. They're quite sparse. Basically, when you hold it up to light, all you really see is the body. So you do. The legs and the material gives a good dimple on the surface. Times that's what the fish look like. As I say, you can trim this back. You can mess about with it, and you can change the colour. White's always handy to have at the back as well. So if you tie some with white, some with pink even, depending on the light, and this nice bright orange works. So there we are, folks. It's a very simple fly. Just before I forget, another thing you can do, you can actually, if you want to separate these fibres, you can bring it through and then fold it back and get it sitting off the front, I think. Do I have one? I think there's one here. This one's really sparse. So it is. You can see I've actually taken it over, fold it back. It's very flat like this one. It sits on the surface. This one's got the cotyledon fibre rather than the microfibets. So just have a selection. Actually sit and make up a few. Before you know where you are, you've got a good, these are, you can pile them up. Good wee pattern, good and very easy to tie, and do catch fish. I like these for the grayling, especially in the summer months. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. And again, as I say, thanks for watching. Until next time.